should they take both? If you're starting early in 9th, 10th grade, it's probably good to have them take a practice test on either one of the on both tests, just so you can get their immediate reaction on it. If you're later in the process, like 11th grade, and you're getting started like right now, you should be more concerned about how am I going to be able to fit this into my schedule to give myself the best chance to study for it. So that's generally how we would work. All right, so that kind of leads to those first two about when you want to start preparing and what and which test they should take. I think is the next important kind of jumping off point to how many times can my child take it. So there's no limit. The short answer is you can take it as many times as you want, and as many times as you can fit into your schedule. That being said, what we recommend is you take the SAT 2 to 3 times and the ACT about 2 times. Now, there's reasons behind that, right? So one of the questions that just came through on the chat is that, what is super scoring? So that's a parent who understands that this is a strategy that you can take when presenting your best scores. So on the SAT, there's a practice that most colleges and universities around the country adhere to called super scoring. And what that means is you can actually go sit for the test one time. Let's say you get a 600 on the reading and writing and a 600 on the math section. So what you can do is that next attempt, if I get a 650 on reading and writing and a 550 on math, I can then pair my 2 highest section scores to present my final score. So from the first attempt, I did better on math in the second time, so I got a 600. I'll carry that forward. And then for reading and writing, I did better on the second attempt and I got a 650. So I'm actually what the school is going to be evaluating you on is a 1250 rather than a 1200, which is what you would see on your score report for either one of those tests. So for the SAT, the reason why we recommend that it makes a little more sense to maybe add that third attempt in is because it's always in your favor. You can always, if you increase your scores, great. It's going by section. If you increase your scores by section, you're going to be able to present that higher score. Whereas on the ACT, it's really taking just your composite score, and if you're not familiar with the composite score, there are 4 sections on the ACT. They're all out of 36 points. So you would get, your scores, let's say you get a 30 on all 4. You average all 4 together, that gives you your composite score for the ACT. Most colleges to this point still take your best composite score from a single day. So it's a lot harder to get those score increases on your ACT in those cases because you need to raise everything and do just as well on each section as you did before on each attempt that you would take. So super scoring is one of those strategies that you definitely want to think about. And also an added kind of bonus to all of this is if you're going to college fairs or you're making college visits and meeting admissions officers, if you ask that question, what's your policy on super scoring for these tests? What you can do with that is, and honestly, it's best to do this in email form because what that does is create a record of your interest in the school, which what you'll find out from talking to college counselors and your school counselors, if you're working with independent counselors, just demonstrated interest is kind of the buzz term for this. That's really important to schools now that they're getting thousands and thousands of applications from all over the place. So when they're considering an application, they want to know that you're actually interested in going there. So if you've shown them and asked these questions, engaged with their admissions office in some way, or when you take your tests, you send your scores automatically to that school, those are all activities that qualify as demonstrated interest.